Hello mathematicians. Today we see one nice problem asked in CSR December 2011. It is a part C problem. Again this problem is about diagonalizability of matrices. Okay, let's see the question. Consider the linear transformation T from R power 7 to R power 7 defined by T of x1 through x7 equal to x7, x6 to x1. Okay, basically what T does is you take a vector in R power 7, it will have 7 coordinates, then it is just a reverses the coordinate. Okay, okay. So I think the action is clear. If you take the vector, for example, 1, 2, 3, say 1, 2, 3, 1. This is or take some 7. This is one vector in R power 7. What will be its image under this linear transformation? It will be 7, 3, 2, 1. 3, 2, 1. Okay, so the definition of the linear transformation is now clear. So the options are they are saying the determinant of T is 1. There is a basis of R power 7 with respect to which T is diagonal matrix. This means that T is diagonalizable over R. Okay, so we will see a detailed discussion below. Then they are saying T power 7 equal to I, and the fourth option is the smallest n such that T power n equal to I is even. Okay, so we'll see which of these options are correct. Um, okay, so our idea is to relate this linear transformation with the permutation matrices. And in our previous videos, we have done a detailed study on permutation matrices. Okay, so permutation matrices are one of the very important concept for any CSIR, NBHM, GATE, all these exams. So we have done a video. Now we use the results and the discussions from those videos to eliminate the options given in this problem. Okay, let's see what is a permutation matrix, how we can relate that matrix with this linear transformation T. Okay, okay, let's get started. So we consider this permutation. Okay, 1 goes to 7, 2 goes to 6, 3 goes to 5, and so on. Why we are considering this particular permutation? Because the linear transformation T sends x1 to x7. First coordinate goes to seventh coordinate, second coordinate goes to sixth coordinate. So that is what I have written here: 1 to 7, 2 to 6, 3 to 5. Okay, so basically this linear transform from this linear transformation we are naturally getting a permutation. This is the permutation. 7 goes to 1, we get 7 goes to 1. Okay, now we're going to relate this permutation and this linear transformation. Let's see how. So we take E1, E2, etc. E7 to be the standard basis of R7. So standard basis means at the ith place 1, everywhere else 0. That is our EI. Okay, so we consider EI as a column vectors. Okay, so it is a 7 by 1 column vector. Each vector in R power 7 can be thought of as a row vector also, or we equivalently we can thought of it as a column vector also. For our convenience, we consider it as column vectors. Then you take a 7 by 7 order identity matrix. Then its first column will be E1, second column will be E2, and the seventh last column will be E7. The vectors of the standard basis, that is well known. Now we take we again we consider the same permutation we just discussed above. I define the permutation matrix associated to this permutation. Okay, how it is defined? Not just this permutation, you can take arbitrary permutation and we can associate a matrix to this permutation called permutation matrix associated to this permutation in this way. But for this problem we do it for this sigma, but same thing you can do for any sigma. Okay, okay, how we are defining this matrix A sigma? Sigma is a permutation in S7 because it permutes 7 elements, so it belongs to S7. So if it is belongs to Sn, we associate a n by n matrix to the permutation. Okay, how we are associating the matrix to this permutation? Ith column of our matrix is equal to the sigma of ith column of the identity matrix. Okay, what is meaning of sigma of I? Suppose if I equal to 4, then sigma of 4 will be 4. If I is 5, then sigma of 5 will be 3. Okay, so the sigma is basically a bijection that maps 1 to 7, 2 to 6, 3 to 5. So sigma of 1 equal to 7, sigma of 2 equal to 6, sigma of 3 equal to 5. So that is the meaning of this sigma of I. So what is first column of A sigma? First column of A sigma is equal to sigma of 1th column of the identity matrix. Okay, what is sigma of 1? Sigma of 1 is 7. So first column of A sigma equal to 7th column of the identity matrix. What is the 7th column of identity matrix? This is the 7th column of identity matrix. So we get the first column of A sigma equal to 7th column of identity, that is E7. Now similarly, second column of A sigma is equal to sigma of second column of identity matrix, but sigma of 2 is 6. Therefore, this is sixth column of identity. Sixth column of identity is E6. Okay. Then the third column of A sigma equal to sigma of third column of identity matrix. There sigma of 3 is 5. So we get this third column. Okay, so we can keep doing and we get A sigma. It is a permutation matrix associated to sigma. Why it is a permutation matrix? Because it is a 0 1 matrix in which each row and each column contains exactly 1 1. Okay, so any such matrices are called permutation matrix. Yeah, 0 1 matrix in which each row and column contains exactly 1 1 is called a permutation matrix. And every permutation matrix actually is coming from a permutation. Okay, so for example, this is one permutation matrix, and this permutation matrix is coming from this permutation. So basically the number of permutation matrix is n factorial. Number of n by n permutation matrix is n factorial because there are n factorial many permutation on n symbols. Okay. So I hope you understand how to associate a matrix, a permutation matrix to a permutation. Now we see. Yeah. So now let's find the matrix associated to the linear transformation. So the given transformation is T x1, x2, x7 goes to x7, x6, x1. Right. What is T of E1? So how do we find the basis? So how do we find the matrix of a linear transformation? You fix a basis for the domain. So I am fixing the standard basis for the domain. Then for each basis vector, you look at the image. Then again you write the then you put you will get a vector. You put that vector as a column vector. That's how you will get the matrix of the linear transformation. For example, uh, E1, E2, etc. E7 is my basis for R power 7. So first basis vector will be E1. So what is T of E1? T of E1 equal to T of 1000. So T just reverses this. So we get 0001. Okay, then this is E7. Therefore, T of E1 equal to E7. Similarly, if we feed E2, T of 0, 1, etc. 000. So this is our E2 will be 000. You will get 1 here, then 0 here. Okay. So T of E2 will be E6, T of E3 will be E5, E7 will be E1. So basically again this is what is happening. So T send E1 to E7, E2 to E6, E3 to E5. So that is why that permutation is important. So E1 goes to E7, E2 goes to E6, E3 goes to E5 and so on. Okay. So now image of E1 has to be the first column of the matrix associated to the linear transformation T. Okay. So what is the first column of the matrix associated to the linear transformation T? That will be E7. Okay. So first column will be E7. Second column will be image of E2, that is E6. So this is E6. So third column of the matrix associated to the linear transformation T will be image of E3 written in the column, written as a column. So that is E5 written as a column. Okay. So what we observe is the matrix of the linear transformation with the linear transformation T with respect to the standard basis is precisely the matrix A sigma. Okay, so that is our first observation. Okay, so what we have concluded is you whatever we have done, we can do it for arbitrary matrix. Okay, uh, so basically you take a linear transformation from R power n to R power n. Okay, so that should permutes the n coordinates in some way. Okay, so how it is permuting, that is given by a permutation. Okay, once it is it's get permuted, sorry, once it is get permuted using a permutation, then the matrix of this linear transformation is the given by the permutation matrix associated to the linear transform permutation matrix associated to the permutation sigma. Okay, so whatever we have done, that is true for arbitrary permutation sigma. Okay, so for in our problem, matrix of this linear transformation is equal to the equal to this permutation matrix. Okay, so now we can eliminate the options one by one. So we need to know what is the determinant of a permutation matrix. We want to know whether permutation matrices are diagonalizable over R, then whether this permutation matrix whether satisfies all these condition or not. That is what we want to understand. So let's continue. So therefore, the matrix of T is precisely the matrix A sigma defined above. That is our first observation. So that is a very, very important connection between the linear transformation defined above and the permutation matrices. Okay, let's continue. So there I'll quote some results. Let sigma be a permutation in Sn, and we can define a linear transformation associated to sigma. Okay, so T sigma is a linear transformation from to Rn to Rn, and it is defined by, if you consider n tuple, then this n tuple is goes to x1 goes to x sigma 1, x2 goes to x sigma of 2. Okay, so if you define it like this, then the linear transformation given in this problem is a particular case of this T sigma, where sigma is this permutation. Okay, okay, so that is then what is the result about this linear transmission? So then the matrix of T, the linear transmission T sigma with respect to the standard basis is equal to the permutation matrix A sigma. That is what we saw. Now let Pn be the set of all n by n permutation matrices. Okay, so for each permutation, you know how to construct a permutation matrix. Okay, so we because here we constructed A sigma from sigma. So then for each permutation sigma belongs to Sn, you can construct permutation matrix. So we collect all such permutation matrix, then the set is called Pn. Then the set Pn forms a group under matrix multiplication. Okay, so why? Whatever the properties of Pn we are discussing here, it is already done in one of our other video, and there is many more other properties of permutation matrix also proved there. Okay, so I'll give you the link of this video regarding permutation matrices below. Also the same link is given in description also, description of this video also. So please check it. You can see the link of this video above also. Okay, so what are the results? So set Pn form a group under matrix multiplication. The group Pn is isomorphic to the group Sn. Okay, so for each permutation you have a permutation matrix, and each permutation matrix is coming from a permutation, and this association is also a group homomorphism. So we get the Pn isomorphic to Sn. Again, as I said, all these things are proved in my another video regarding permutation matrices. So please check that video. Link is given in the description. Okay. Moreover, the permutation sigma goes to the permutation matrix A sigma is an isomorphism from the group Sn to Pn. Okay, so sigma goes to A sigma is the isomorphism between Sn to Pn. Good. Cardinality of Pn is n factorial because Sn and Pn are isomorphic. Now we come to the question of order of an element. Why? Let's see why we need the notion of order of an element here. Let G comma star be a group and A belongs to G. Okay, so we say order of A equal to K if, when do we say order of A equal to K? First, you have to multiply A with itself K times, you should get E, the identity element of the group G. But if A multiply with itself A K times, if it gives you E, that is not alone sufficient to say order of A equal to K. This K also has to be the least positive integer satisfying this condition. Okay, such a K is said to be order of an element, order of the element A. Now we restate this definition in the group Pn. Pn consists of n by n permutation matrices. It is group under matrix multiplication. Okay. Okay. So we same definition. Consider the group Pn comma this operation is matrix multiplication, and I take an element A sigma from Pn. Note that every element of Pn is of the form A sigma. For some permutation, sigma belongs to Sn. Now we so according to the above definition, order of the matrix A sigma equal to K if you have to multiply A sigma with itself K times, you will get the identity element of the permutation matrix group. What is the identity element of this group? That is the identity matrix. Okay, so if you take this permutation sigma to be the identity permutation, then the matrix A sigma will be identity matrix. Okay, so identity matrix itself is an example of a permutation matrix. So order of A sigma equal to K if A sigma power K should be identity and K is the least positive integer satisfying star. That is our definition. Okay, now elements of A sigma, elements of Pn are matrices, n by n matrices satisfying some condition. So for matrices there is already one order. It is an n by n matrix, means we call n is the order of the matrix. Okay, now we are looking at the matrix inside a group, and in the group we are talking about the order. Okay, so that is order of the matrix. This is order of the matrix inside the group. Two different things, but I hope in the it is the definitions are easily distinguishable. Okay. Okay, so we know the what is degree, what is order of an element A sigma in the group of all permutation matrices. Now we have some results. This so we above we saw we told that sigma goes to A sigma. This map is an isomorphism from the group Sn to Pn. Okay, where did we said, yeah, so we said that sigma goes to A sigma is defines an isomorphism. That means, but if it is a group isomorphism, these two groups are isomorphic, and order of this element should be equal to order of this element. Okay, okay, so we get order of the matrix A sigma in the group Pn with matrix multiplication is equal to order of the permutation sigma in Sn. So that is a result. Okay, and all these results are given in that one of my video regarding permutation matrices, whose link is given in the description. So please check that. Again, all the result we are telling here regarding permutation matrices are there, and the determinant of A sigma is equal to sine of sigma. Okay, okay, what is sine of sigma? uh, yeah, again you can check in that video. Okay, so now using these two result, order of A sigma equal to order of sigma, determinant of A sigma equal to sine of sigma, we will solve this problem. Okay, first sigma is the, you remember this is our sigma. Recollect that this is our sigma. Then its cycle decomposition is This is its cycle decomposition. 1 goes to 7, 7 goes to 1. 2 goes to 6, 6 goes to 2. 3 goes to 5, 5 goes to 3, then 4 goes to 4 is a single cycle. Now there are two cycles, three transpositions. Okay. Therefore, therefore, sine of sigma. So this is the formula for sine of sigma. Sine of sigma equal to minus 1 power number of transpositions. Transposition means it is a transpositions means two cycles. Two cycles. Okay. Suppose you get a three cycle like this, you should split this into uh, 3 2. You should split this into uh, two cycles like this. Okay, first 3 2 3 1, even 4 5 6 8. This kind of cycles also 4 5 4 6 4 8. So like this, we have to split it into, because every permutation can be written as product of cycles, then each cycle can be further split into transpositions. So that way we can write every permutation as a product of transpositions. Now you look at, then minus 1 power number of transposition will give a sine of sigma. Okay. So now for this permutation there are three transpositions. Therefore sine of this permutation is minus 1 whole cube, that is equal to minus 1. Okay. Here the cycles itself is happen to be 2. Therefore we don't need to do these kind of things. But yeah, in general, for arbitrary permutation, first you write a permutation as product of cycle, then each cycle you split into transposition like this. Okay, good. So now we know sine of sigma. So basically sine of sigma is equal to determinant of A sigma. But A sigma is the matrix of the linear transformation T. That is what we saw earlier. Therefore, determinant of T is minus 1, because determinant of A sigma is minus 1, because determinant of, because sine of sigma is minus 1. Therefore this option is false. So basically whenever you are given this kind of linear transformation, you just to find this permutation, then determinant of this linear transformation is nothing but just the sine of this permutation. So that is our conclusion. But on the way we have discussed many things, but that can be used in some different problems also. Okay, let's see. We first finish option third and fourth, then we come to second option. Third option says t power 7 equal to identity. So, I mean, saying t power 7 equal to identity is same as that the matrix associated with t and its power 7 equal to identity. Okay, because matrix and linear associated linear transformation are same. So, this option is basically says that uh, what it says? It says that A sigma power 7 equal to, will you get identity? That is the question. Okay. Because T and A sigma are same. A sigma is the matrix of the linear transformation T. Okay, let's calculate whether A sigma power 7 equal to I. For this reason only we defined the notion of order in the group of Pn. Okay, so now let's calculate the order of the matrix A sigma in the group Pn. Okay, so what we have concluded here, order of A sigma equal to order of sigma. Okay, so order of A sigma in, okay, order of, what is order of sigma? So what is order of a permutation? Order of a permutation is LCM of length of its disjoint cycles. First you split the permutation into disjoint cycles, then you take the LCM of its length, you will get the order of the permutation. For example, this sigma, this is the cycle decomposition. So its order will be LCM of, this is a 2 cycle, 2 cycle, 2 cycle, 1 cycle. LCM of 2, 2, 2, 2, 1 will be 2. Therefore, this permutation has order 2. Therefore, this matrix A sigma has order 2 in the group Pn. That means that A sigma square equal to identity. Okay. So, if A sigma square equal to identity, then A sigma power 7 equal to A sigma square power cube times A sigma, but A sigma square is identity because A order of A sigma equal to 2, right? Therefore, we get this identity cube will be identity, so we just get A cube. Okay, so we get A sigma power 7 equal to A sigma, but A sigma is not identity matrix because we have explicitly calculated the matrix A sigma. So this is our A sigma, which is clearly not identity matrix. Identity matrix means 1 should be here. Therefore, we conclude that this option is false because t power 7 is not equal to I. T power 7 is actually equal to t because A sigma power 7 equal to A sigma. Okay. Okay, the smallest n such that t power n equal to I is even. So we write this statement in terms of A sigma. The smallest n such that A sigma power n equal to I is even. That is a statement. But what is the smallest n such that A sigma power n equal to I? That is precisely order of A sigma. Okay, that is what we saw. So I hope you can recollect the definition of order of a permutation matrix in the group of all order of permutations. Just to goes a little back in the video, you can see. So we proved that order of A sigma is 2. Okay, that means that 2 is the least positive integer such that A sigma square equal to identity. And since A sigma is the matrix of the linear transformation T, we get that 2 is the least positive integer such that T power n equal to identity. 2 is clearly even, so this option is correct. Okay, good. Now we come to the second option. They are saying that there is a basis of R power 7 with respect to which T is a diagonal matrix. Okay, so we have made, so uh, before this video, earlier we have made 3 videos on CSIR problems on diagonalizable matrices. In part 1 of that video, we have proved that to diagonalize a matrix over R, its eigenvalue should be in R. Okay, but if you look at this linear transformation, if you look at this linear transformation, this linear transformation satisfies this polynomial. What is this polynomial? So this x power 7 minus 1. The linear transformation T satisfies. Oh, sorry. Uh, there is a mistake. We proved that order of A sigma square equal to 2. This is what we proved. That means that A sigma square equal to identity. That means that uh, T square equal to identity. That means that T satisfies the polynomial x square minus 1. Okay, correct. So T satisfies x square minus 1. T satisfies x square minus 1. This implies minimal polynomial of T divides x square minus 1. Why? This is one of the important property of the minimal polynomial. Minimal polynomial divides all the polynomials satisfied by minimal polynomial of A satisfies all the polynomials satisfied by A. Therefore, we get minimal polynomial of T divides x square minus 1. That very sorry. That means that, so that implies me. So minimal polynomial divides x square minus 1. That means that minimal polynomial of T should be equal. So what are the divisors of x square minus 1? This should be either x minus 1 or x plus 1 or x square minus 1 itself. Okay, x square minus 1 itself. So since minimal polynomial divides x square minus 1, minimal polynomial has to be either x plus 1 or x minus 1 or the polynomial x square minus 1 itself. But in all these cases, minimal polynomial is product of distinct linear factors because x square minus 1 is equal to x plus 1 into x minus 1. Okay. So minimal polynomial, even we can say more actually. So if minimal polynomial is x minus 1, that means that the matrix has to be identity matrix. Okay. Uh, but the linear transformation has to be identity linear transformation. Okay. because you just substitute I mean, if this is a minimal polynomial, x minus 1 is a minimal polynomial, you substitute t in this polynomial, it should be 0. So what will you get? So in x minus 1, if you substitute t, you get t minus I equal to 0. You will get a t equal to I. Okay. But t is not equal to I, because our linear transformation t is clearly not the identity linear transformation. Therefore, minimal polynomial cannot be equal to x minus 1. If minimal polynomial is x plus 1, then t is minus I. Clearly, this our linear transformation is not minus I. Minus I means x1 goes to minus x1, x2 goes to minus t, x1, x2, etc. x7 goes to minus x1, minus x2, minus x7. That is the minus identity. Okay. So, but clearly that is not the linear transformation. Therefore, minimal polynomial cannot be equal to x plus 1. Therefore, minimal polynomial has to be x square minus 1. So, minimal polynomial is product of distinct linear factors x plus 1 and x minus 1. So, we conclude that this linear transformation is diagonalizable over R. Okay, so it looks like a very big problem, but what matters is we have covered many important topics uh, related to CSIR question in this one problem alone. Okay, so I will put the description in the description. I will add the related videos. So please check that videos also, and try to write your own notes, self-contained notes. Okay, so it will be very good to maintain notes for yourself. If you have some doubts, please let me know. I'm very happy to solve this problem, clarify your doubts. Okay guys, take care. Thank you.